Welcome to 214 Square. Today, January 25th, 2025. We're just 29 days away from Germany's federal election on February 23rd. Let's dive into the latest developments and analyze the numbers shaping this critical election. So, as you see, 29 days till election day, and several events are influencing the political landscape as Germany approaches the federal election on February 23rd, 2025. First, we have an attack in Aschaffenburg, Bavaria. An Afghan asylum seeker denied refugee status attacked a group of kindergarten children, resulting in the death of one child and an adult. The deportation process for the individual was delayed due to missed deadlines by authorities. This incident has elevated discussion around immigration policy, crime, and national security. Political impacts are expected for CDU, CSU, and AfD as both parties focus on these issues. CDU-CSU leadership response. Friedrich Merz, the CDU-CSU chancellor candidate, has proposed stricter border security laws and revised immigration rules. Merz stated he is open to votes from all political sides, including the far-right AfD. This represents a possible shift in CDU-CSU's political strategy, as cooperation with the AfD has previously been avoided. Global impact. US presidency. Donald John Trump was inaugurated as the 47th President of the United States. His positions on NATO, funding, foreign policy, and economic strategies could influence Germany's political discussions on these issues. BSW corruption allegations. In Thuringia, two ministers from Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht (BSW) are under investigation for alleged bribery, following the waiver of the parliamentary immunity. This case could impact public perceptions of integrity within the BSW, a relatively new party. The current development of the polls. The latest polling data provides insights into voter preferences and trends as Germany federal election nears. While polls vary slightly across publishers of most recent entries, the most recent entries highlight the key movements in party standings. For January 22nd to January 24th, 2025, CDU-CSU polling between 28% and 35% at 34%. The highest recent value, 34%, from Allensbach Institute suggests some recovery in voter confidence after early declines. SPD ranges between 16 and 90%, with the January 22nd value at 90%, marking a significant peak for the party in recent weeks. AfD consistently polling at 20 to 22%, maintaining strong upward momentum, with the January 24 value of 21% among the highest recorded this month. Greens, or Bündnis 90 Die Grünen, stable between 30% and 15%, showing minimal fluctuations, with 40% on January 24th. FDP struggling at 4 to 5%, reflecting minimal appeal and likely facing challenges to meet the 5% threshold for parliamentary representation. The BSW ranges between 5% and 7%, but the January 24 value of 3% signals potential voter attrition following recent corruption allegations. Other small parties, including Freie Wähler or FW, remain below the 5% threshold, collectively capturing 8 to 5% of the vote share. The data highlights several trends. The CDU-CSU retains its lead, but has lost significant ground compared to its earlier peaks in November 2024, with 37%. The AfD continues to solidify its position as a major competitor, consistently challenging the CDU-CSU's dominance in certain regions. Smaller parties like the FDP and BSW face significant challenges, risking parliamentary exclusion if trends persist. These polling results suggest an increasingly fragmented electorate with no single party close to achieving a majority. Coalition building will likely play a decisive role in determining the outcome of the election. The aggregated and weighted polls provide a comprehensive overview of voter trends over time, smoothing out daily fluctuations and highlighting longer-term shifts. Here are the key figures and observations from the latest aggregation on January 24, 2025, CDU-CSU, averaging 30.29%, maintaining its position as the leading party. However, this marks a decline from earlier month, reflecting reduced voter confidence. SPD averaging 16.26%, showing relatively stability but struggling to recover its former prominence. The AFD at 20.30%. The sustained growth places them firmly as the second strongest party in recent months, reflecting increasing voter support for the platform. The Greens, or the Grünen, averaging 13.58%, holding steady with slight upward trends in specific regions. FDP, Free Democrats, 4.17%, just below the 5% threshold, indicating significant risk of exclusion from parliamentary representation. The BSW averaging 5.2%, with recent polling showing volatility, possibly due to corruption allegations affecting public perception. Other parties, collectively accounting for approximately 6.61%, including smaller parties such as Free Voters, which continue to struggle for broader national relevance. Trends over time, stability at the top, the CDU-CSU remains the leading party, but has seen a steady decline from the higher averages in late 2024, e.g., for example, 32.4% on December 7, 2024. The AFD growth. The AFD's consistent rise from 18.88% in December 2024 to over 20% in January 2025 indicates growing voter alignment with the platform, particularly on issues like immigration and national security. Weakness in small parties. Both the FDP and BSW, but also the Linke, are experiencing fluctuating support near critical threshold, highlighting their vulnerability in the upcoming election. The aggregated data underscores an increasingly competitive political environment with no single party able to secure a majority outright. The rise of the AFD as a strong second force may complicate traditional coalition building strategies, while the performance of smaller parties could significantly influence the formation of the next government. Voter potentials of the parties. Understanding voter potentials offers valuable insights into how firmly aligned voters are with each party, as well as their openness to alternative choices. The following breakdown highlights key findings from the most recent voter potential data. Secure voting decision, or sichere Wahlentscheidung. CDU-CSU has 22% of voters who are firmly committed, giving them the largest secure voter base among all parties. The AFD, 17%, reflecting strong support from a dedicated base, particularly on contentious issues like immigration. The SPD, 10%, demonstrating a relatively weak core of committed voters compared to the leading parties. The Greens, 9%, indicating a smaller but stable core of secure voters. FDP and Linke both stand at 2%, reflecting significant challenges in solidifying support. The BSW, 4%, showing limited secure voter alignment for this newer party. Nearly secure voting decision, or fast sichere Wahlentscheidung. The CDU, CSU, and AFD lead here as well with 9 and 5% respectively, suggesting they are positioned to grow the voter base further. Alternative voting option, or mögliche Alternativwahl, or Alternativoption. The SPD leads this category with 22%, indicating that a significant portion of the electorate considers them as a viable alternative, even if not the first choice. The CDU-CSU follows with 17%, while smaller parties like the Greens 12% and the BSW 12% are also seen as alternatives by a noble share of voters. Then, unvotable or unwählbar. AfD, 55% of voters consider the party completely unacceptable, highlighting the polarization of their appeal. Greens, 42%, likely due to ideological divides and the focus on environmental policies. CDU-CSU, 24%, the lowest among the major parties, reflecting the broader appeal across the electorate. SPD, 25%, showing similar challenges in reaching all voter groups. The BSW, 38% say unvotable, possibly impacted by recent corruption allegations or even the policies on foreign policy and similar. Analysis of voter dynamics. Polarization. The AfD's high secure voter base is counterbalanced by its exceptionally high unvotable percentage, making them both a strong and polarizing force in the election. Broad appeal and versus court support. The CDU-CSU has the lowest unvotable percentage and the largest secure base, maintaining the position as the most broadly acceptable party. However, the alternative voter potential 70% suggests limitations in growth beyond the core. SPD's challenge? While the SPD leads in alternative voter potential, the relatively small secure base indicates a lack of strong alignment, posing challenges for mobilization. Voter potentials highlight a fractured electorate with distinct divides between parties that have broad appeal versus those with intense core support. The AfD's polarization and the SPD's weak, secure base are particularly significant in coalition building scenario that will take shape. Then we have North Rhine-Westphalia. North Rhine-Westphalia, or NRW, Germany's most popular state, provides critical insights into voter trends, often serving as a bellwether state for national elections. Polling and elections data over the years show significant shifts in party performance. In a historical context, in 2016, CDU and SPD were the dominant forces, polling around 30% and 33% each, with small parties like the Greens and AfD trailing far behind, as you can see here. By the 2021 federal election, SPD had regained significant ground, capturing 30.1% compared to CDU's 28%. This reflected broader national gains for the SPD at the time. In recent polling trends, in 2024, CDU maintained a strong lead, reaching 40% in some polls, particularly in August and October. SPD has faced a steady decline, polling between 16 and 90% over the same period. The Greens remain stable, around 14 and 17%, while the AfD shows slight growth, polling between 12 and 13% in NRW. The key observations: CDU dominance. The CDU strength and innovate reflects its broader national appeal with a steady voter base, even as both parties fluctuate. The SPD decline, once a stronghold for the SPD, NRW highlights a struggle to reclaim the historical voter base. Small parties, the Greens and the AfD, have carved out consistent niches, but remain far from challenging the two largest parties, CDU and the SPD. The data positions NRW as a pivotal battleground in the upcoming federal election, with CDU poised to lead but requiring coalition partners to consolidate power. Then, because we soon have a Bürgerschaftswahl in Hamburg, March 2nd, 2025, Hamburg's results will not only influence the federal landscape, but also set the tone for regional politics this year. Historical performance. 20, the 2017 election, SPD and CDU were nearly tied at 27.7% and 27.8% respectively. The Greens and Linke followed at 12.8 and 11.5%. By 2021, SPD solidified its lead, capturing 31.5%, while CDU dropped to 16.7%. The Greens gained significantly, reaching 24.3%. In recent polling data that we are looking at, polls in late 2024 and early 2025 indicate that SPD leads at 31%, maintaining a strong position. The CDU trails at 17 to 21%, with notable improvements from its 2021 performance. The Greens remain a significant force, polling between 20 and 22%, reflecting stable support in the Hansestadt Hamburg. The AfD shows modest growth, reaching up to 14% in recent months. Then we have the key observations. SPD stability. Hamburg, home of Federal Chancellor Olaf Scholz, remains a stronghold for the SPD, with consistent leadership in polls. CDU's recovery. Despite trailing, the CDU's recent gains indicate a slow but steady recovery in urban regions like Hamburg. Remember, Hamburg is a city-state in Germany. The Greens as a contender. The Greens' robust support positioned them as a critical player in any potential coalitions. The AfD's growth, the AfD's rise in urban areas like Hamburg highlights the broadening appeal of the platform, even in traditionally less favorable regions. So, what are the implications? Hamburg's upcoming election will test the staying power of SPD dominance and the potential for CDU and Greens to close the gap. It will also gauge whether the AfD's growth in urban settings translates into actionable gains at the polls. Well, let's go to Brandenburg. Brandenburg is a key state in eastern Germany, and it has shown unique electoral trends over the years, reflecting its distinct political landscape compared to other regions. Here is an analysis of its polling and election data. In historical context, in 2017 federal election, the CDU and SPD were the strongest parties, polling at 27.9 and 19%, respectively. The AfD followed closely at 19.8%, already signaling its growing strength in the region. By the 2021 federal election, SPD surged to 29.1%, reclaiming a dominant position in this state, while the AfD solidified its role as the second largest party with 18.2%. The CDU, meanwhile, dropped to 16.9%. Polls from the late 2023 and early 2024 indicate significant changes. AfD rising to as high as 32%. The AfD has become the leading party in Brandenburg, reflecting strong support for the platform on national and regional issues. The SPD is polling between 19% and 23%, maintaining a stable but reduced position compared to the 2021 performance. CDU fluctuating between 15% and 18%, showing limited recovery after the decline in recent elections. The Greens steady at 7 to 8%, reflecting moderate support. BSW emerging as a notable force, polling at 6 to 8% despite facing challenges related to public perception and allegations against its leadership. The AfD's dominance. This is what we have in our key observations. Brandenburg's highlights the AfD's strongest performance nationwide. though it is very comparable to other states in East Germany, with the rise attributed to voter dissatisfaction with traditional parties and strong support in rural areas. SPD's decline. While still competitive, the SPD faces challenges maintaining the voter base, particularly as the AfD gains traction. CDU struggles. The CDU's position in Brandenburg has weakened, significantly reflecting broader regional trends in eastern Germany where they face stiff competition from the AfD. The BSW's entry, the Bündnis Sarah Wagenknecht party, has carved out a niche in Brandenburg, potentially drawing voters from both left-leaning and dissatisfied centrist voters. So, what are the implications? Brandenburg remains a pivotal region in understanding the AfD's broader appeal and potential role in shaping coalition dynamics. The SPD and CDU face uphill battles to counter the AfD's momentum, while smaller parties like the Greens and the BSW may play kingmaker roles in local coalition building. The political landscape in Brandenburg continues to evolve, with the AfD's performance offering a key indicator of broader electoral trends in eastern Germany. Yes, and then competitiveness is a key to assessing Germany's economic and political standing on the global stage. The IMD World Competitiveness Ranking, pardon, provides valuable insights into how Germany compares to other nations in four categories: infrastructure, business efficiency, government efficiency, and economic performance. And here we have the development of Germany and other countries from 2017 to 2024. Between 2017 and 2024, Germany's overall competitiveness has declined significantly. In 2017, Germany scored 84.11, not percent, that's the score, 84.11, placing it among the global leaders in competitiveness. But by 2024, the score had dropped to 72.7, a significant decline that reflects structural challenges. Then, in a comparative analysis with selected countries, we can see Denmark maintained a high score, peaking at 100 in 2022 and slightly declining to 97.1 in 2024. Just so that you know, the highest possible value is 100. Singapore, it recovered from a dip in 2021 to reach 100 again in 2024, showcasing adaptability and resilience. The United States experienced fluctuations starting at 95.41 in 2017, peaking at 100 through 2020, but declining to 83.5 by 2024. France dropped steadily from 78.81%, 78.81, not percent, just the score, in 2017 to 69.7 in 2024, mirroring some of Germany's trends but at a lower level. China remained relatively stable, with minor declines from 84.29 in 2019 to 81 in 2024. Germany's decline is particularly pronounced compared to Denmark, Singapore, and the United States, which have shown greater consistency or recovery. The development of Germany by the IMD categories. Breaking down Germany's performance by category reveals the specific areas of decline. Infrastructure is the first point. Germany dropped from the 10th in 2019 to the 20th in 2024, reflecting challenges in maintaining its world-class infrastructure. Here we are talking about digitization, we are talking about Railway, we're talking about highways, bridges, and all. Then, business efficiency. A sharp decline from 26th in 2019 to 35th in 2024, driven by bureaucratic hurdles and low adaptability in business processes. Then, government efficiency at the third, declined from 22nd in 2019 to 32nd place in 2024, indicating growing concerns about public sector performance and policy execution. And the last of the categories, economic performance, dropped from 9th in 2019 to 13th in 2024, reflecting slow economic growth and increased pressures from global competition. What are the key observations here? Well, we have broad decline across categories. Germany's challenges are not isolated but span over multiple sectors, pointing to systematic issues. Government and business efficiency. The most significant declines occurred in these categories, raising questions about Germany's ability to remain competitive in a fast evolving global economy. Then, infrastructure concerns. While still robust, the decline in infrastructure ranking suggests the need for increased investments to sustain Germany's industrial and economic base. So the implications are Germany's competitiveness decline could influence voter sentiment, particularly in issues like economic reform, infrastructure investments, and public sector efficiency. As the federal election approaches, parties may focus on addressing these concerns to rebuild confidence in Germany's global standing and the quality of Made in Germany. Now we go to Germany and religion. Religion in Germany remains an important demographic and cultural factor, even as secularism continues to rise. The distribution of religious affiliations highlights the diversity and shifting trends within the population. And I highlight this because we also have the East German states that have been part of a communist state, and they recently joined, not recently, they joined in the 90s, and they had another approach to religion. So, 50% of the population are Christians. So, this is still the dominating religion, followed by Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and Judaism. A third of the population, and they are mostly being found in East Germany, do not belong to any religion. Religious composition of Germany's population shows, Christianity represents 15% of the population, making it a majority religion. Protestantism accounts for 43.7% of Christians, or 21.85% of the total population. Catholicism slightly higher at 44.6% of Christians. Then we have also Orthodox Christianity, most likely from immigrants from Russia or former Soviet Union, with 3.7% of the Christians. Then we have free churches or Freikirchen like Baptist, Mennonites, and so on. But also we have Pentecostal Christians, 2.3%, also most likely from the former Soviet Union. And then we have other Christian denominations or no Christian denominations who just say that they are Christians. These are 4.5%. Then the second largest religious group in Germany is Islam, 8.5%, and there are 66.5% of Muslims who are Sunni Muslims, and we have 15% who are Shia and other Muslim denomination, and non-denominational Muslims who are 70.6% of the Muslim population. Hinduism is 1.3%, Buddhism 0.9%, Judaism 0.3%, other religions 2.5%. But 35.9%, a significant and growing proportion of the population, is indicating a rise in secularism and non affiliation. These people indicate that they have no religion or do not belong to a specific religious church. And here are some regional variations. Eastern Germany has the lowest proportion of Christians, with secularism being more prominent. Western and southern regions tend to have higher concentrations of Catholic and Protestant populations. You will probably find more Catholics in most parts of NRW, in Baden-Württemberg, and also in Bavaria. Bavaria, I would say, there you find many convinced Catholics. Then the implications. Secularism's rise, the increasing proportion of individuals with no religious affiliation reflects a broader societal trend towards secularism, particularly among younger generations. Political influence. Parties like the CDU CSU, historically aligned with Christian values, may face challenges appealing to a growing secular electorate. Cultural and social dynamics, the diversity of religious affiliation, and the rise of Islam and non-religious groups. Okay, this is my favorite word today. So, non-religious groups highlight the importance of addressing multicultural and secular perspectives in policymaking. Religion in Germany is both a reflection of historical traditions and a marker of ongoing societal changes, with these trends likely influencing political and cultural debates in the coming years. This was today's episode. This is me, Christian Crump, and yeah, I'm responsible for analyzing the data. I'm the one who is narrating the video. I'm doing everything here, and I just say thank you for watching.